Show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
But to address the Club Shay interview that she did, where she states that she prays to the universe in regards to reconciling our relationship, as I stated, is odd. My mother and I both know that that is a very false narrative, and I would like to free her of having to continue telling that lie. Faith without work is dead, and neither one of us cares to put forth any effort to reconcile with the other. We are separate, as she put it, because she doesn't care to be my mother any more than I care to be her son.
And you wanted to show them the reason George Floyd got his neck nailed on. Don't ooh at that joke. It's just a joke, man. I would have never kneeled on George Floyd's neck. You ready to go? All right, baby. Okay. All right, you offended too, baby, with the braids? Right. You offended too? God damn, man, fuck. Y'all good? Or y'all about to... Oh, I like Kyle Rittenhouse too.
And when she said that, a number of other girls were like, yeah, it drives me crazy when my mom does that. It's like she won't even let me finish, and she's already told me what I should do. And it's like, wait a minute, you didn't even hear the whole story yet. So when the class was over, one of the teachers came up to me and she's like, oh my goodness. She's like, I just got convicted. She's like, I do that to my son all the time.
Why we not talk? Well, let's talk about it. We live. We live. Yeah.
That's the show, Dada!
The last 7 days have been totally insane, but we made it. Now buckle up and get ready for the most organic conversation on the internet with your hosts, the Force, the King, the Kamikaze, the Great and Terrible. Up to it, down to it. Pour a glass and talk some trash. Welcome to the show, and thank you for tuning in. We hope you have a good time tonight right along with us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend. Let's go up to it. What it do?
What's happening, everybody? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Assuming we can still call you that.
Yeah.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of Up to It Down to It. Back here with your Friday Night Delights, your boys. Y'all know what time it is, man. I'm the Great and Terrible Trey. Got a bunch of stuff to bring to y'all today, man. Y'all know what it is. I'm excited. This is good. We're going to basically roll right through. I'm hoping you guys are feeling good. We'll get to y'all in the introductions. But again, everybody, thank y'all. If you're here for the first time, like, share, and subscribe. Definitely hit the subscribe button. We're going to get some more content, more things going to be coming out pretty soon. But dad's first. So we got to take care of that side of it, right? All right. But we got more stuff to come. Trust and believe. Trust and believe. Shout out to Q. I know he's MIA right now. He's doing his thing. But shout out to Q real quick. And with all that being said, let's get down to these intros. My man, the immovable force on that side of the screen, whatever side it may be, depending on your orientation. But y'all know what it is. Kev, talk to us, brother. What's up, man? How you feeling?
Listen,
we that made it through the week thing is a real thing. It's been 5 performances in the last 24 hours, and my body was like, all right, we're done. So tonight we are splitting the baby with a hot toddy, because I just want the bourbon by itself. So this here is the hot tea. Okay, let me be careful putting it down because it is hot. All right, and we are going to sip slow on the lazy rivers. Just a beautiful work of art. um it's one of the best bourbons I've ever had, and I stand firm on that. So we are indeed going to drink good, but at the same time, we're gonna flush some things out, and then we're going straight to bed from here. Drink whatever you're gonna drink, as long as it's not Aquafina, because I'll judge you. Pour a glass. Let's have ourselves a time,
That's
You
right.
don't pour glasses of Aquafina. You pour plastic cups. Put Dixie cups of Aquafina.
or just pour it in the trash.
It's very
Directly.
pour trash in the trash can.
There it is.
That said, my man's down bottom. What up, LB? How you feeling today, man?
What's going on? What's going on? Hey man, I'm fine like wine, just like I hope everybody else is, and getting better with time. Tonight I am just sipping on the bottle. All right, that is the Menage a Trois, the exotic blend. Exotic. That's what we're doing. Just going straight from the bottle. You know, mm. Because why not? What's on my mind this evening? Actually, the whole week is pick a side and take action. That's it. Bottom line, pick a side, take action. That's all I got. So let's get into it, man. We got a lot to talk about. We're here for a good time, not a long time.
You know what it is, man. That's what's up. That's what's up. I like that. Pick a side and take action. So let's talk a little bit about it. Speaking of choosing sides, let's get right into it. As we all know, we talked about it last week. We had Super Bowl Sunday this past.
I want $50.
Hey, shout out to the $50 come up, yo. What you mean, yo? Shout out to the $50 come up.
$50 more.
That's all I'm saying. And the funny part is, I didn't even make the bet. The bet was actually pushed on me. I was like, nah, I don't want to take your money. Nah, I don't want to take the bet. Boom. All right. Cool. No problem. I'll take it. Here we go.
You might actually bet on the 49ers to win.
Somebody bet on the 49ers to win.
You don't bet against. I swear we said that. Don't bet against Pat Mahomes. We said it.
We literally said it. Like there's 2 people in NFL history that you don't bet against after like December 31st. They are Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. You don't bet against them. So shout out to the $50 come up from that guy who obviously doesn't watch this show. He's obviously not subscribed, right? Because if he was subscribed, he would have known that you clearly are going to put your money on the Chiefs.
Send him the link. Better.
That's all good, man. But yeah, we're gonna get into some of the results of the game. But we had a few things, as always. These Super Bowl is not without spectacle and not without controversy. So we're gonna go before, during, and then the results of the game. So before the game, we had what has become a bit of a new tradition with the singing of "Lift Every Voice and Sing," the Black national anthem at the Super Bowl. This year, for one reason or another, I feel like it wasn't as much backlash last year as this year. I could be wrong, but it seemed to be a little bit more backlash this year about the singing of the Black national anthem at the Super Bowl. The 2 arguments can be made. One is, we want representation of Black people, since Black people we are the majority of the NFL. The other argument is that there's one national anthem. There should be one national anthem that unites all of us, not 2 national anthems. That, in and of itself, is separation and division. Fellas, your thoughts?
If if there's only going to be one, why not make it the one that wasn't written having to remove a verse? That's
I mean, ain't nobody removed the verse.
well, it's right. So it's there. We just
Like the verse, ain't nobody removed it.
so okay. So if we're gonna do it, why not do the one that doesn't have the whatever you want to call it written into it that talks about the slave? And I'm saying
because my argument against that would be because it talked about the slave at a time where slavery was prevalent. So,
but it's still a part of the song. Like, so for everything else,
slavery is a part of history, a part of the foundation of the country. It is what it is, and we don't sing that part no way.
That we want to ignore, when it's convenient to ignore it.
I'm not sure anybody's ignoring it. I'm just saying, me personally, I feel like there has always been one national anthem. There is still one national anthem. If we want to sing one for ourselves, that's fine. But that's not going to be a song that's going to unite the whole country because it's specifically the Black national anthem. Like there was the national anthem, and then there's the Black national anthem. You know what I'm saying? So,
which will always beg the question: why did it have to be written?
What?
The Negro national anthem, the Black national anthem, whatever we want to call it. Why did it have to be written?
It didn't.
It did.
No, it didn't.
Just like there has to be a creation of, or had to be a creation of Black everything. I mean, it's even the existence of HBCUs is because at a point we weren't allowed to whatever. So like, I'm not ignoring that.
It wasn't like we weren't allowed to sing. Like, what are we talking about?
Well, we weren't allowed to sing everything always. That's why songs had coded messages.
Weren't allowed to read everything always. Right. Weren't allowed to do a lot of things always. Actually, weren't allowed to be considered a human being always by law. So, that was for census purposes. Here's what I'm gonna say. Here's the thing. If we're gonna pick one, then we need to pick all to have something to say about. It seems like everybody has an opinion. That's great, and that's just what it is, an opinion. Why not have the national anthem sung during Black History Month, right? Why not? But if we are going to have a problem with that, then you shouldn't be the same one that doesn't have a problem with the Confederate flag flying at state buildings.
I mean, I honestly, that's a part of history too, and I don't believe in getting rid of history, as ugly as it may be. I think you got to teach history, as ugly as it may be.
Well, actually,
I don't think you run from it. I think those who don't learn from history
have to teach history. You definitely do. But one side won and one side didn't.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very true.
So I think there is a place for it, right? There's a place for it. I still don't think I don't see the issue with the that Black national anthem being sung during Black History Month at the Super Bowl. I don't know what their issue is, because even in like certain other games, they'll if it's a Canadian team, they'll do the Canadian anthem as well as the American. They'll do
Canada's
whatever.
A country, though.
If you say what?
Canada's a country, though. Black isn't.
That's fine. It's to say it's still representation. It's still representation. It's still representation, though.
Yeah, but Canada has one national anthem.
I can't argue that because I don't know.
Canada doesn't. They don't have a national anthem, and then a French national anthem, and then a British national anthem.
this will
I'm just saying they don't. I'm just saying.
Listen, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, like, and it's probably the heart of my argument. I don't see the issue. And for what it's worth, like, all of this around the national anthem, Black national anthem, whatever, became political because at a point, none of these things were shown before, like, as a part of any games. It, like, really only after 9/11 happened did you start seeing the national anthem in, like, as a part of the games. Like, it happened during commercials, and then all of a sudden they were showing it. No, go back and look. They weren't playing these on TV. They were happening in commercials.
Not for the Super Bowl. Like they like the Super Bowl always had some kind of, well, not always. Like, there was a time, dark ages of the Super Bowl too, to your point. But even pre 9/11, like there was spectacle with the singing of the national anthem at certain sporting events. Like if the Super Bowl, you would have seen it. The World Series, you would have seen it. A regular sporting event, you probably wouldn't. To your point.
Yeah. So at a point, all of this becomes political. I don't see the issue, and I'm a person. I teach both. We literally just sang both last night, so I don't ignore the national anthem, but I'm not teaching the Black national anthem either.
No, I think you should. I certainly think you should teach the Black national anthem, absolutely. But I also, I think because Rich made a point, and then we can go to the next thing. Rich made a point that I think if it had been framed this way, there might not have been any backlash. Because in the Black national anthem during Black History Month, they're probably, like, framed that way, it sounds a little bit different. You know what I mean? Versus, we're going to sing the national anthem and the Negro national anthem. And I think because of the way it's framed as in a divisive way. It's framed totally divisively. So, and I think we're at a point, much like after 9/11, I think we're at a point where we need to be more united than divided.
If a song divides us that isn't divisive, I think we're sensitive.
I mean, well, everybody's got a little bit of sensitivity. So, that's probably, we can call that a little bit of Caucasian sensitivity. We're gonna talk about some Black sensitivity a little bit later on. But everybody got a little bit. The vision has been forced upon us. You know what? I'm not sure you realize how much of a mouthful you just said. It was forced upon us in a lot of different ways. And particularly, it's been forced upon us more so over the last 12 years or so. But in particular, over the last 12 years, this divisive thing that we have going on in the country, this has been, forced on mainstream. And I think that's part of the reason why people look at, not the song itself is divisive, not that the song is divisive, it's that singing it separately or alongside with the national anthem, which, again, no other country does that. Singing it alongside with that is considered divisive, considering all the racial tension we have in the country right now.
Well, here's the last thing I'll say on that. I think, to Kev's point, the song was made at a time where we all weren't looked at the same or unified. So, what's wrong with, hey, everybody, if you feel like the song isn't portraying, or you feel like it's not portraying us as a whole, or you think, hey, what's wrong with coming up with a new one? Is it too late to come up with a new one, or revise or something like that? Or can we
like a new national anthem?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think there's anything wrong with coming up with a new national anthem if it's a joint effort by all parties involved. I don't think it should be, a new national anthem written by Black people or a new national anthem written by white people if we're going to do something like that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think we just, just do what we did. Black Lives Matter, the statue, like the statues, and Black Lives Matter, the national anthem. I don't think we do that.
No.
I don't think that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But black folk fought in the American Revolution too.
Well, yeah. Because
No, free black men. No, because I know you're gonna say, well, yeah, because they were slaves. No, free black men.
No. Because I mean, listen, this could be a whole topic on its own. I mean, we can keep going down, and another thing, and another thing, and another thing. I just think that me personally, I'm not afraid of change. I'm not afraid of here's where we are now. We know the past, but let's evolve from what we know now. Unify everybody. So,
I agree with that.
nonetheless, the Super Bowl game itself was kind of boring only because we didn't see the same dynamic of, or I should say what I was expecting, right? An offensive shootout. I wanted that, but I knew I didn't expect that only because the defense, that was a defensive game. That was a defensive Super Bowl. It was, I expected Christian McCaffrey to like at least have 150 yards. I thought the score was going to be like 39-44. Man, I'm glad I didn't bet on like the score because I was way off.
Yeah, I expected it to be a little bit more offensive than it was, but then again, not. I mean, there were two top tier defenses who at least were playing lights out in the playoffs, and that right when it matters, both defenses were playing lights out. So I can't say much about that.
Yeah, it looked a little different than I expected, but turned out to be a fantastic finish, so I'll take it.
Yeah,
defense plus Mahomes wins Super Bowls.
It's not how you start; it's how you finish. Giggity.
They finished strong. Made sure they ran it so there was no time left on the clock.
There it is.
You know what I mean? And then one other thing that happened during the Super Bowl. My bad, what you say?
I said, and he took it into overtime.
She always likes when it goes into overtime. Anyway, speaking of, she likes when he goes into overtime. Usher and Alicia Keys made a whole lot of noise, apparently. Now, honestly, all right, hold on, because there's that. But I want to say, I thought the performance was pretty good. I was entertained. I've never been a huge Usher fan anyway, right? But for what it's worth, I thought his performance was really good. I was entertained. I like seeing everybody, come up. I thought Jermaine Dupri looked ridiculous, but that was one of the highlights for me because he looked absurd. But of course, the noisemaker was Alicia Keys with all them cakes under the red dress, and Usher feeling all up on it. What were y'all thoughts on it? And if you watched the halftime show, what were y'all thoughts on it?
So if you look for the performance on YouTube now, they've actually edited it because Alicia Keys live was a little we'll call it pitchy. So you actually can't find like the non-fixed. Well, you can find the non-fixed version of it, but in most spaces they've kind of corrected that, which kind of has always gone to my point that she's not a real singer. Fantastic musician, not a real singer though. I thought it was a great show, and I was actually glad that Swiss Beats came right out and was like, y'all are like focused on the wrong things here. Even though like that's wild because she's a husband stealer, but another conversation. But he came out and said, y'all are focused on the wrong things. It's two great performers, like blah, blah, blah. And we saw that Usher like got married right before the Super Bowl. So, I like none of that was that deep to me. But I thought it was a fantastic show. If you didn't get to see him in Vegas, you got kind of quick look into what that looked like. And he gave you every element, brought out some dope artists. Luda will be my dude for forever. I thought he did his thing.
Yeah, man. I thought he did his thing. I saw two performers as far as Usher and Alicia Keys goes. I saw two performers being, entertaining. But of course, Usher, as he usually does, he's got to go, uh, the extra mile to be entertaining. Much like what he did with, oh my gosh, Nicki Minaj, I think it was when he
Kiki
was
Palmer.
doing the whole shoulder, head, shoulder,
Oh
get
yeah.
up, smack the butt. I was like,
Biggie
in
Slip.
my mind, I was like, literally, this cornball. Come on, man. Usher's my dude, though. Okay, Usher's my dude. All right, but I was just like, come on, like seeing them perform. It did to me look like two old friends like reliving this nostalgic age. Like because his music's still popping and you still vibe to it. So yeah, the rest of the performance when Luda came out, when I mean, everybody, man, it was a good performance, man. I like the marching band, the live marching band out there. The whole thing, man, it was good, man. It was a good vibe, and if you weren't out your seat doing at least one of the moves, one of the dances, I mean, A-Town stomping or something. I mean, come on, you know, it was a show. It was definitely a show.
Yeah, they're definitely up there in the top performances in Super Bowl halftime history, I think. Um, all good. And Swiss Beats definitely shut all that down. Of course, there's some other memes that came about with that and other questions that came along with that, which we will address in the coming weeks. But I thought overall it was good. And so that takes us to the Super Bowl itself, which again, shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs for winning that Super Bowl. I think we all kind of knew that one way or another, either because of Patrick Mahomes or because of Taylor Swift. I think we all knew that the Chiefs were going to win the Super Bowl. So it is what it is. I will say, I will say somebody put up a video on Instagram. I think it was, maybe it was TikTok, of Travis Kelsey when he won the Super Bowl when he had the black girlfriend versus Travis Kelsey when he won the Super Bowl when he had Taylor Swift as his girlfriend. And they say, yeah, the man looks defeated. He just looks defeated. He looks like he's putting on. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I think Taylor Swift is probably a good reason why they won. It's rigged, Joe. No, I'm kidding. I don't
Listen,
get in trouble.
I have no dog in the fight. I I just try to take everything at face value when they're together. They seem happy. And I mean and I don't know a lot about Taylor Swift, but like the things I've read and heard and seen about her is that like she's a genuinely nice person, with a like truly bubbly personality and good spirit, which I think why she has kind of the fan base that she does, and like even to see highlights of her concerts, like she brings out a variety of artists, white, black, rap, hip hop, country, like she hits all the genres, brings all the people out. So I'm gonna believe that she's just a good person with a good like spirit and energy. So when when they show her, granted they show her way too much in the box, but when they do show her, she's just kind of happy. Like seeing her in the box with Ice Spice was mad random, but like it's kind of on brand for her because she brings everybody out. So I'm gonna believe that they're genuinely happy and doing their thing. She people put the spotlight on her. She's not doing a lot to be in the way, so I can appreciate that.
You sound like a Swifty, Kev.
Nah, I can't tell you one Taylor Swift song. I'm just saying, when you gotta see the stuff, pops up everywhere on social media, like, you read a little bit, but I literally could not tell you one Taylor Swift song. If you played one right now and said, "Who's this?" I would probably guess, anybody other
I
than.
got I got one. The song "Shake It Off." I like that one.
That's a
That's the
Taylor
only
Swift
one.
song?
How what?
That's a Taylor Swift song. Yeah, the song
Oh,
"Shake It
well,
Off,"
there you
"Shake It
oh, well,
Off,"
What?
there you go.
"Shake It
Okay.
Off."
So
Ooh, ooh, ooh. That shit.
Shaker's gonna shake, 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 and
Yeah,
potatoes gonna bake, and I
yeah.
just
You know what
wanna.
I'm saying?
Th-
Okay, so
That,
I do
that,
know
that
a
shit,
Taylor
that shit kind of bump a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you ask me whose song it was, like I know it, but okay, all right, cool.
I know it's
Something
Taylor
new.
Swift because of my wife.
All right.
She be coaching me on all these people. I'll be like, who the hell is that? I don't know who that is, but I like the song.
And I think I know it more from the movie Sing than I do from, you know what I'm saying? So, again, like, that's what I'm saying.
Super facts.
Yeah.
Super facts. And she sang the hell out of that in the movie Sing, by the way.
You mean
Yes.
Tori Kelly?
Yes.
Yeah. That's
Well, yeah.
So yeah, that's Tori Kelly's song.
As far as I'm concerned.
Stop it now. Okay.
I'm so confused right now.
Rich is like, Tori Swift. What? Taylor Kelly?
Or
No,
Taylor
no.
Kelsey.
Taylor Kelsey.
Eh?
That, first of all, that is Mr. Taylor Swift. All right.
Sure.
It's Mr. Taylor Swift, okay? Actually, if they were going to co-opt the fade, that's what they should have called it. They're going to gentrify the fade. They should have called it the Mr. Taylor Swift. I would have called it that. That would have been funny to me. All right, anyway. And then, all right, so we had the Super Bowl weekend, exciting, of course, and now we had All-Star weekend of Michael Jordan's birthday. Kev, I know you're watching the the celebrity game right now?
Well, it came to an end, and Micah Parsons did walk away with the All-Star Game MVP for the celebrity game. Thought it was cool though. Thought it was cool, little contest.
Yeah, we got a couple of things happening All-Star weekend. I think I read that they're going back to the Eastern Conference, Western Conference format this year instead of team insert superstar here versus team insert superstar here.
They got tired of LeBron picking against whoever.
Because it was definitely Team LeBron versus the world.
Yeah.
So we're back to the traditional format, which honestly I always like the Eastern Conference versus the Western Conference battles anyway.
Yeah. Sure did.
Like there were certain decades that we lived through, certain decades where like the East, like in the 80s and like the early 90s, the East was dominant. And then when we got to the 2000s, the West was dominant, right? So like dominant, but if you go back through the histories, like the East was dominant for its amount of time, the West was dominant for its amount of time. I feel like if we pulled up a win-loss record, it's probably not too far off. Something like 34 and 32 or something like that. You know what I mean? So I like that, putting the best of each conference against each other versus the, randomly picking across the conference thing. What y'all think?
Yeah, I'm with it.
I think there's a lot more parity between the conferences now to go back to that format. I wish, and I mean, we're going to see it, at the next Olympics when, because people said they talked too much, and now the USA is bringing like the players. You know what I'm saying? So like, I would still like to see an All-Star game that, has like USA versus world. I know it's kind of hard to do it because you would need to have an even amount of players picked from both places. But I would like to see that as an All-Star game. And I even think they can adopt something from, what MLB does to continue to keep the All-Star game competitive. Like the winner of it, that conference gets home court advantage for the NBA Finals. I think that would add a little extra motivation, even though they've been competitive in the last few years with the money for the charities and all of that and winning the quarters. But you can always add something to keep it spicy.
Yeah, I love that baseball added that rule. That was something I wish that the NFL could have adopted with the Pro Bowl before they went to these games. I mean, I don't know. The games are cool, but I miss the Pro Bowl. Yeah, you miss seeing the best versus the best. Oh, I do. I miss seeing the best play against the best. I mean, the skill challenge is cute, but that's what it is. It's cute. That's how I see it.
and
It's
safe.
cute. And yeah, you know, that guy jumped off of a diving board and caught 3 footballs in the face before, you know, splashing into the water. And the other guy, he was able to take 4 balls to the face before splashing into the water. You know, but that guy, this last guy, was able to take 2 balls to the face and catch a ball between the legs. 2 balls between the legs even before splashing into the water. I mean, that shit's cute.
It's the splash in the water part for me. Splash. Oh,
Shit,
man.
wow, man. So I was watching it. It's like, what are we doing, man? Like, NFL American Ninja Warrior, you know?
Oh, man.
Anyway, but yeah, all right. Yeah, so All-Star Weekend coming up, man. Looking forward to it. We got any shiners in the dunk contest this year? Damn. What about the 3-point contest? Dame in it again?
Yeah, Dame's in it again. I think Cat will be back to defend his title. Um, you gonna have some shooters. You're gonna have some shooters, but I'm just here for the Steph Curry, Sabrina Ionescu 3-point contest.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's gonna be fun. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. When is that's tomorrow night, right?
Yeah, and I don't even know if this is on a card, but shout out to Caitlin Clark for breaking the NCAA women's record with the logo pull up 3 last night. Again, women's basketball is moving in a dynamic direction, and you just want to continue to see it grow this way. So shout out to Caitlin Clark one time.
Big shout out to Caitlin Clark, and she, for some of her detractors that were saying that she needs to break the record in as many games as the previous record holder. She did it in two fewer games than the previous record holder. Just throwing that piece of trivia out there since we brought it up a couple weeks ago. So big shout out to Caitlin Clark. I think she's gonna move the needle. She and Angel Reese are gonna move the needle when they get to the WNBA. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to watch, man. Give us something to watch in the summertime other than baseball and golf. Spring football or something like that. So, cool. All right, so let's talk about something else. Let's shift gears just a little bit. There was y'all know how I talk about free speech a lot, right? There was a comedy show. The young man's name is David Lucas. I do recommend you check him out. He's pretty funny in my opinion. But he was at a comedy show, and I guess he broke some rules in there, and he pissed off some of his audience, and some of them decided to walk out after he made a George Floyd joke. There was a whole segment. I do recommend you take a look at the entire segment for full context, but I do want to play this little clip so you kind of get an idea here of what happened, and then everybody give y'all feedback from there. So here we go.
I wanted to show them the reason George Floyd got his neck nailed on. Don't ooh at that joke. It's just a joke, man. I would have never kneeled on George Floyd's neck. I would have shot that nigga. That was making us look.
You know about George Floyd before you get your ass up there talking. You really should know to be funny, don't you know that?
It's called comedy, nigga. How many more black fans I gotta hear that might leave? Oh, good shit, man. I got. Cause nigga, I was just warming up with that George Floyd shit. You ready to go? All right, baby. Okay. All right, you offended too, baby, with the braids? You offended too? God damn, man, fuck. Y'all good? Or y'all about to... Oh, I like Kyle Rittenhouse too. I like Kyle Rittenhouse too. You too, bro? God damn, bro. Oh, but you fuck with me a little bit, right? See that? Yeah.
So there we go. Man joke about George Floyd. Said he liked Kyle Rittenhouse. A few people walked out of the show. Fellas, are we too sensitive? Or should he not have used that joke?
Here's what I'll say. Because you had mentioned you had mentioned he something about breaking the rules, or did he break the rules of comedy? And I'm like, there rules. I mean, like there must be rules now, because obviously people go back 10 years and find a comedy sketch that you did or said, and try to hang you for that. But so here's the thing. If we're gonna throw that out the window, then throw the other stuff out the window too, like the 9/11s and the other stuff as well. Um, for you got to throw it all out if that's the route we're going. Let's throw it all out. Um, I'm not upset for the people walking out either. That's that's their prerogative. I'm not upset about. For me personally, I'm not upset about the joke. I'm not upset about the people walking out.
Yeah,
And he because he said you ought to know about George Floyd before you start talking about him. Or is that what he said? You ought to know about George Floyd before you start talking about him. Well,
Yeah,
what about
that's what
George
he
Floyd?
said, yeah.
Enlighten us. Tell us the greatness.
Well, I say he sure as hell wasn't nobody's hero, that's for sure. That's that pregnant lady he kicked in the stomach.
Yeah, so I'm not mad at the joke. Again, when you go to comedy clubs, you're gonna hear, especially like smaller comedy clubs, you're liable to hear
You,
any and everything.
you hear
Um,
worse than that. I was just
yeah,
that one. You hear
you know,
worse than that.
yeah. So it comes with the territory. But like Rich said, it's even with the conversations we've had about people that are not black saying the N word. Like, some people say it and get away with it, and some people say it and get punched in the mouth. So you have the right to say whatever you want. Doesn't mean it doesn't come without repercussion or backlash, or in this case losing audience members or whatever the case may be. So he ain't wrong, but neither are they.
Well, yeah, he's definitely not wrong. He's definitely not wrong. That's comedy. It is what it is. I would say the and again, you gotta watch the whole clip to kind of get the full um, context of this. I think the people were wrong for interrupting the show and trying to heckle him on the way out the door. Like, if you don't like the joke, you want really you could just not laugh. You could
You
just not
could
laugh.
just not laugh. You could just get up and leave.
You
I
could
don't
just
know.
get up and leave quietly
Was
without incident.
that Floyd's kinfolk or something? I mean, listen, I don't know.
I doubt it. I doubt it. Because the guy that said you need to learn something about George Floyd before you talk about him obviously doesn't know anything about George Floyd. Because he didn't exactly have a life worth celebrating. So, man, saying he should, he deserved to die, nothing like that. I'm just saying he didn't exactly live a life worth celebrating, and he was, drugged up. So I'm just saying. I think if you're gonna leave quietly. Don't interrupt the show. But in the way, in the end, it's a joke. If you didn't think it was funny, I thought it was kind of funny. If you didn't think it was funny, you just didn't think it was funny. But like this world where you gotta, be offended, clutch your pearls, grab your little man bag, and walk out in front of everybody and tell everybody why you're walking out. And then this was a waste of my money. You ain't gotta do all that. You ain't gotta do all that. Grow up. So I'm saying they're not wrong for leaving, but everything else around how they left. And I'd even say why they left. I don't even think that's not a joke worth leaving off of. We've heard far worse than that. That's not a joke worth leaving off of. Stop being sensitive.
But I'll say I actually don't mind them heckling them though. And I mean I know it's a different context, but I just I think of like early Showtime at the Apollo. Like if you weren't, if the audience didn't like you, they booed you. Like they, you know what I'm saying, they let you have it in that way. So like this kind of arena is really is a space for that. Like if you go into a comedy club to do your stand up, there's a likelihood that the audience is going to let you have it. It's a little different than, you know what I'm saying, like some other places. Like you're not going to a recital, a dance recital. You're going to it's a comedy club. So like even the comedians know when I get up there, the audience is going to give me whatever. So like
there's always that chance.
I don't necessarily think they're wrong for heckling, for saying their piece on the way out, because that's a norm for comedy clubs. Just talking to the comedians, you know what I'm saying, booing them, telling them they suck. Like what it just kind of comes with that territory.
Yeah, absolutely. Because even like I said, even at the comedy club we were at, boy, it was there was a heckler that every single comedian that got up there got it. Like he was not, every single one, all of them, didn't matter, male, female, black, white, Puerto Rican, it didn't matter, Asian, all of them got it. So it's a part of it. It's part of it. Yeah, I don't like I said, I don't think either one of them were wrong, and I don't think that was the question. The question was, are people getting too sensitive?
Yeah, I think I think they're too sensitive. Jokes are jokes. You can go back historically, Richard Pryor and stuff that he used to say, Red Fox and stuff he used to say, Eddie Murphy, the things he used to say, and then even up to more up to date ones, Cat Williams, Bill Burr. Like I mean, come on, man. People, what's the other guy? Rife, Matt Rife, I think's his name, right? Like look, people are gonna make jokes. It is what it is. What it is. I think if you go to a comedy club, you should expect that. I think if you know the comedian, and I think he had on something like a "Make Roasting," or he has a shirt that says like "Make Roasting Great Again" or something like that. So you kind of know what comes with the territory. Some comedians are gonna look for people in the crowd to cut on. Some there's gonna be some hecklers in the crowd. It's part of the culture, but to be offended in that way, I think is incredibly sensitive, especially going to a comedy show. Incredibly sensitive.
And I'm not mad at that statement. I guess what I'll say is like this looks like a smaller comedy club, whereas some of the names you named, you're very familiar with their style, but like the kind of comedy club we just looked at seems like the type they'll probably have 8 or 9 comedians on a set. So like you may have come to see, you know what I'm saying, numbers 2, 3, and 9, and number 7 you've never seen before. You know what I'm saying? So like it's a kind of a shock with that you didn't know what to expect. Whereas like if I go to see Dave Chappelle, every Dave Chappelle, you know what I'm saying, stand up, I pull up, I'm probably gonna hear a transgender joke. I'm gonna hear, you know what I'm saying, a gay joke. I'm gonna hear like Asian jokes because he's married. I think his wife is Asian or something like that. So like I know what to expect because I'm familiar with Dave Chappelle. But like if I were to just pull up a random comedy, you know what I'm saying, special of somebody I've never seen or heard before, then some things might shock me just because I'm unfamiliar with them. And this just seemed like one of them kind of clubs where you're going to hear a bunch of comedians on a night, And so, you may have had somebody you liked that you wanted to see, and everything else just kind of came with the territory. Like I said, I'm not mad at no parts of this either, but I understand it.
And they're definitely going to test the waters and see what works. They're going to try to go like off the normal uh, line of comedy and try to test the waters with different types of comedy. And say obviously they were triggered, and it is what it is.
That's right.
Lacking emotional intelligence. Lacking emotional intelligence, like we talked about last week. Just saying. That's what you said, right? If they triggered, you get triggered. That's a lack of emotional intelligence, right?
Well, they couldn't control it.
And there you have it. And there you have it. Um, so yeah, that's that. I think I don't. We got to stop being so sensitive, in my opinion. Speaking of, I don't want to say speaking of sensitive, because this is a more serious kind of a situation. I think um, where we have. Did y'all hear anything? Y'all heard Monique's son spoke out on social media. Y'all hear anything? Y'all heard all that? Did y'all hear that?
I'm actually a little more familiar with his second video. I didn't see his first or her response, but I did see the second one. To which, like, I guess he's been like whatever he's saying, he's reading from a screen. If I'm understanding correctly, he's dealt with or is dealing with some mental things himself. So I can actually, and I'll say I can wholeheartedly appreciate him writing his thoughts down and and sharing them in that way, because I am the type, like, I hate confrontation, because like, and it's a thing we're working on in therapy. I know that if I say the first thing that comes out of my mouth, it's not going to be exactly what I wanted to say, and it's going to come across the wrong way. So I would much rather take a second to gather my thoughts and then like articulate them appropriately than to like go right at it in a moment. So I can appreciate the clarity in which he's addressing these situations. But I'm not like completely familiar with the scope of what's going on between the two of them.
Yeah, I saw both of them actually, and the first one, um, he explained why he was reading from a screen, which is exactly what Kev was saying. He wanted to write it down so that he doesn't go off on a tangent, or just emotionally go off, and so I respect that because while you're talking, something can come up, and then you're like, oh, and this and that. The second thing was he wanted to just clear the air about some things about um, what his mother had said since she brought it up. According to him, he wanted to clear the air on some things, and I think he he didn't bash her. He was articulate and expressed what he had to say. Um, and then the second one was because she responded to his video. Um, I think he was saying, quote unquote, trying to show receipts, but those receipts were from like 2020, and it really didn't have much substance there. On that text message was what the receipt was. What he was calling a receipt was it was a text message, a picture of a text message. And so he wanted to further, clear that up, and put a kind of, I guess, a final stamp on it. But rightfully so. I know there was some. I saw some backlash, and people were like, "Why is he reading? Why can't he just speak from the heart? Say what's on your mind, this, that, and the third." But that to me is just going off emotion, like writing it down so that you can uh, say exactly and get exactly what your point across, what exactly what you want to say, exactly what you want to get across. Write it down. I mean, it just makes sense to me.
Yep, and I think from listening to both audios, and I didn't have those all set up in the interest of time. But listening to both of his accounts of his relationship with his mother, it's sad, honestly. It's unfortunate that they're even going through this. To be honest, one thing that he said, I believe in the first audio, was that neither one of them, neither party, has a desire to reconcile with the other party. And that's a pretty damning allegation. And I think what the receipts that Monique was posting was trying to show that it's not her that's unwilling. I think this is what happened. That it's not her that's unwilling to repair their relationship. Right? Again, I don't know the full scope of their story. Their story is what it is. But I think it's a sad thing when you see a parent and a child unwilling to work things out. I understand sometimes things are gonna be hard, right? There's gonna be some hard conversations. There's gonna be some, some rough points, right? But to have just an unwillingness to reconcile, I think that's, once you're both adults, and I understand this, there's always going to be, when I was a kid, you did this to me, or whatever that case may be. And again, I'm not talking about stuff that's not abuse, right? And, I think abuse is a whole different ballgame. By the way, shout out, I think it's the House of Representatives that passing the bill. Maybe it was somebody's state House of Representative passing a bill to give the death penalty to pedophiles. Shout out to them. I'm all in for that. But again, to not have a willingness to do either one, I think I think is wrong on both sides. To be honest. And I think that's what she was trying to portray, that she is not unwilling to reconcile, whereas he seems to be more unwilling to reconcile with her. Probably for good reason. Who knows?
Well,
But that's the part that I think is the part that jumped out to me.
yeah, I think everybody should, that it's a good listen. Um, it's a good listen because that way you can uh, hear it for yourself. Because I got a different thought out of that, only because I've heard her side about. I heard the tape with the whole Tyler Perry thing. Heard the her talking about Kevin Hart thing and whatnot. And so when he said, when he said she's waiting for him, she's the type that wants you to come to her. She's not gonna go out and get you. She's the type where she wants you to always come to her. And I was like, well, dang, that was what she actually said about Tyler Perry, pretty much, and same thing with Kevin Hart. So I think in this case for them, because he's from hers, it might be the same on both ends. Like she feels as though she tried to reach out, and now she's waiting on him, and now he feels as though he was going through something, and he tried to reach out, and now he's done. So he's waiting on her. So you know, it
Waiting on her to what? Apologize? Like to
no,
reconcile?
to if she wants this relationship, he's waiting on her to come to him. I'm saying both parties seem like they're done trying to reach out. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, whenever, in general, when you hear that kind of talk track, right? I'm waiting on them. Like, waiting on them to do what exactly? Like, I'm not saying those two in particular, but I'm just asking, like, the general question. Like, when you're waiting on somebody, what do you think they're waiting on? They're waiting on is it an apology? Is it? Go
It's
ahead.
extending an olive branch, most likely. You know, it's like that. Like when two people are mad at each other, like don't nobody want to be the first one to quote unquote break, like you know, and even how those conversations get started. Like it's not, hey, can we talk and fix this? You hungry? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like just looking for something to kind of break the ice and push them in that direction. That's what I would imagine.
But and to his point though that he was trying to make, she brought it up on the Shannon Sharp show. That's what he was saying. She brought it up that she was trying to have this relationship with her son. And then to his point, he was saying, but you show receipts from 2020, but you just came on the show. You don't have any, where are your receipts from if you're trying to have this relationship with me? Where your 2023 receipts? Where your 2024 receipts? Like you, I think that's what his point was. Like, stop. It's a false narrative. Like be real with yourself. If you are trying, then you're actively trying. Not you did try. You're actively trying. He even said, "I want to free her from this narrative of you're trying to have a relationship with me." So I think that's all he was trying to say. He's just put that out there, like you're free. You don't have to listen. We both know what it is.
Yeah, I just think it's very possible that you know communication may have been severed on his end after 2020. Just saying it's possible. I don't know. I don't know the story,
It could be
but
possible. I mean, he was going through something
that's a
mental, you know.
yeah, yeah. That's all. All I'm saying is him telling me that not that he also doesn't have a desire to be a son or to work it out does tell me that even if she did, he wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? So even if she's saying that she wants to have a relationship with him, he's saying neither of us want to have a relationship with each other. So that just leads me to believe that even if she did, he wouldn't be willing to anyway. Now, again, like I said, I don't know the extent of their relationship. You know, y'all can let us know in the comments. Y'all know a little bit more about this than I do. I'd imagine you do, but I'm just saying messages might have been sent in 2020 because no further communication came from the other side.
I don't know. That's the only message that I saw. So could be
Yeah,
more, could be less. Who knows?
yeah, yeah, yeah. In the end, it sounds like apologies were needed or are needed. One thing about reconciliation is that you got to be able to acknowledge what you may have done to offend somebody, and then be willing to apologize for that and move forward beyond that point, right? And so that brings us to our topic for today. Does that, and we know that applies with adults, with our friends and our spouses and so on and so forth, but does that also apply to our children? I believe, well, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it real quick, right? So let's look at this tweet real quick, real fast. Apologize to your children when you lose your cool. They don't understand why you're upset, and they deserve an explanation and an apology. Doesn't matter that they're little humans too. Communicating with them will make it easier for them to talk to you one day. So real quick, fellas, what are your thoughts just on this? And then I do have a video along the lines of this that I want to play after that. But what are your thoughts on this idea of apologizing to your children? Because that seems to be a foreign concept. I know, old school parents are like, hell no, we don't do that. A lot of old school parents are like, absolutely not. What are your thoughts on this?
Rich.
I listen. I've apologized to RJ and Isaac, and like it. If I'm losing my cool, then yeah, because here's the thing: the way that I grew up, you know, I don't remember an apology, and probably is part of the reason why I don't have the communication that that I have, that we have, with our kids now. Um, I think that it makes it. I think that it makes a difference. I think it. I think the apology is actually, you know, for me as well. You know, I think the apology is for me. Like, and because I want to be able to have and keep communication and show them how relationships are supposed to go. You know, and so yeah, I've apologized to that little 4-year old, and you know what? He's actually apologized to me as well.
like
He's
on his
learning,
own, unprompted.
like on his own, on
Yeah,
his own.
yeah.
He has done that. So it does it work for everyone? I don't know, but it's working over here. And he's still a savage, by the way. So somebody come get him.
Yeah, I think the apologies are absolutely necessary. It's a continuing of mirroring what healthy communication looks like, what understanding like consequences and actions, what that looks like, and then relationship building. And so I don't, not just apologizing to your children, but letting your children see you apologize, to other people. So, for a husband and wife, that could be, apologizing to each other in front of the kids. I've apologized, to K2's mom in front of him, because you want to show healthy relationships. So, but I make it a point to apologize to him. And, much like Rich said, sometimes we just lose our patience, and we do our best to be very patient, understanding that they're tiny toddlers, they're little humans, they're irrational as they can possibly be. So a lot of their actions are tied to just nothing. But like when you get to that point, then you got to come back and address it. So I do my best to make my apology quick after the fact. But he definitely feels a little fire in the moment, and then we can come back and talk about it. And to Rich's point, because we're apologizing to our kids, they're taking this stuff in, and he has apologized, on his own, after the fact. So he won't and doesn't like the consequences when they happen, but then we'll be playing with blocks, building a house, and he'll just apologize out of nowhere. And that's another chance to build on the conversation. I forgive you, I just want you to understand that X, Y, and Z. And, everything doesn't stick, but some stuff will stay with them. So you just, keep throwing stuff against the wall and hope something rubs off.
You know what sticks? These hands. You know what else sticks? My foot up your candy ass. Oh, this dog gonna apologize and soft parenting. I ain't for none of this soft parenting, all right? None of it. No, I'm totally kidding. Actually, I totally agree with this. With this premise that especially when you lose your cool. I do that. I've got girls, right? So I think it's important for them to hear me, the king of the castle, if you will, um, apologize for yelling too much, or for screaming at them, or for losing my temper, or what have you. And I think Rich made this point that it's not just for them, it's for you, because it's also me catching myself in the behavior that I don't want them to emulate, right? Because in the end, me losing my cool is not something that I want my kids to emulate. That I don't want them to emulate that behavior. So I have to be accountable for that. So in the end, I think in order to teach accountability, you have to be accountable. Otherwise, people will see you as a hypocrite, and those people do include those little people in your house, right? To see you as a hypocrite. So um, I don't believe in soft parenting, but I also don't believe that this is soft parenting. I don't believe that this is soft. I think this is necessary to teach your kids what we've been talking about the last 2 weeks, to teach your kids emotional intelligence, right? Some people, I saw in the comments, some people were saying you enable behavior by apologizing to the kid when you blew up or what have you. Um, I don't think that to be true. I don't think that's enabling behavior. I think there's a time and a place for certain things, and when you got to turn up, you got to turn up. But there are also times where the turn up is not warranted. The turn up isn't necessary, and in those times, I think is when it's important. But turn up on your kids. Please don't mistake what I'm saying. Please turn up on your kids though, because they do need to know.
I got to jump in because actually, I think most of us might have heard this growing up. I actually have gotten an apology even before the beating.
I'm sorry for what I'm about to have to do.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I definitely got
It's gonna hurt me more than it's gonna hurt you.
It hurts you. Yeah.
And it makes so much sense because I like when you like we love our kids, like, so I don't want to see my son cry. I don't want his feelings to be hurt, and it's not even just like with the with the spanking or whatever the case may be. First of all, I've never had to spank him. Like, he already knows I'm a pincher and a plucker. Like, that's my thing. Even my high school students, they get it. They get pinched and plucked. They know what's up. But like I've never been a spanker. But like even when I'm just saying no. Like, it hurts to like see him upset and like frustrated and all of that. So like a part of you like wants to rescue them, but then like you're fighting yourself because like, first of all, you have to hear no. Like, kids got to hear no, and they also need hard boundaries and hard consequences to associate with their actions. I'm not calling children animals, but it's kind of the same process with like training puppies. Like, they tell you, if your dog poops in the house and you discover it an hour later and then try to like reprimand them, they don't understand the consequence. But if you get to them immediately and like deal with it, then they can connect what they did with what happened. And small children are pretty much operating the same way. Like, something can happen, and if you are addressing it 90 minutes later, it's not going to have the same effect as catching the consequence right in the moment, and then, allowing them to associate their action with what immediately happened after. So like, get active.
Get active.
Pick a side, take action. Put that on a t-shirt, baby. Let's go. We haven't had them put that on a t-shirt in a while.
Yeah, gotta put that on a shirt ASAP. Stop playing. Take sides, take action, or something like that. Pick a side and take action.
Pick a side, take action.
Okay, all right. Whatever Aretha Franklin said. No. Oh man. Let me play this quick video. Along the lines of apologizing to your kids. Of course, we're talking about it from the perspective of teaching little ones, but this story, if you will, is about those that have older kids. So even when you have older kids, teenagers, and so on, they're watching you too, and they're watching your actions. So let's take a quick look.
Apologize. One of the questions that I often ask students is, when you have kids, how will you parent differently? Are there any things that your parents are doing that when you have kids, you're going to make sure you don't do those things? So I was in an 8th grade class once, and an 8th grade girl said, I'm not going to try to solve all of my kids' problems, and I'm going to listen to the entire problem before I jump in and cut them off and not let them finish what they're saying, and give them all of the things that they need to do. And when she said that, a number of other girls were like, yeah, it drives me crazy when my mom does that. It's like she won't even let me finish, and she's already told me what I should do. And it's like, wait a minute, you didn't even hear the whole story yet. So when the class was over, one of the teachers came up to me and she's like, oh my goodness. She's like, I just got convicted. She's like, I do that to my son all the time. And she said, it's just that, you get into this mama bear mode. And when they start to tell you about a problem, like, you automatically say, oh, if you do this, like, you can fix it. She's like, I wonder if my son feels the same way. So the next day she came back and said, "You're not going to believe what happened." She's like, "I went home last night and I apologized to my son. And I said, hey, the girls in class were talking about things that their parents did that drove them crazy today. And I recognized myself in what they were saying. And I realized that I do that to you, that I sometimes don't let you finish what you're trying to tell me. And I just jump in with the solution before I've heard the entire problem. And I'm sorry." And she said that my son came over and gave me a big hug and said, "Thank you." And she said, "You don't understand how huge that was." She's like, "My son is," I think she said he was 17 years old. And she said, "He never hugs me." She's like, "He has not wanted to hug me in a couple years." She's like, "He's just in this, I'm too grown to be hugged." And she said, "It just did something to my heart for him to come over and hug me. And that just showed me how much he appreciated the fact that I apologized." And I just think you can get a lot of points with your kids and you can do a lot for your relationship if you would just go back and apologize. And some
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. You get a lot out of that if you come back and apologize. That's basically what she was saying. What are y'all thoughts on that story?
So wildly enough, and I know she's talking about older kids, but again, the tiny little emotionally intelligent 4-year-old does not like being cut off, and he will quickly say, "You didn't let me finish." And so, like, I catch myself and let him finish, and his thoughts are wild and irrational and wrong, but I'm still letting him get it out. But one of the places, and again, shout out to therapy. We'll just hold it there. But one of the things we talk about, and it's even my therapist to me, like, as I'm explaining something, is it's two approaches. Do you want me to respond to you like solution based, or do you just want to support in this time? And so I think, if we're pausing to like deal with any kind of problems, we should like use those kinds of questions to power the way we approach situations like that. And we can do the same thing with our kids. So if you're talking to me about something, having trouble with classes and teachers, having issues with your friends, you're trying to fit in, you're dealing with bullying, whatever the case may be, like, as you're talking to me, do you want me to listen as a parent who's here to, help you solve your problems? Do you want me to, just listen so you can get it out and figure it out on your own? Like, if you're providing them with options, then they can tell you what it is that they want from you, and you can take that approach, as opposed to just deciding what you're going to be in the moment and running with that.
Yeah, I agree. Um, I mean, we do it. We allow the space for you to for our kids to get it all out, because sometimes depending on what it is, what it is about, it's even hard for them to get it out, and we want them to come to us versus going to anybody else, so we want to keep that line of communication open. Now, depending on, again, what it is, again, there's a time and a place, so you gotta make that space available. um and at times it might not always be like the best time, so you really, I like what Kev was saying, was we got to ask that question, what, how would you like me to respond, like what type of conversation is this, like get the disclaimers out up front.
Yeah,
um
context.
yeah. So we don't have any miscommunication, because that leads to complications.
Come on, Lauren Hill.
Yeah, just a little bit. Mm.
That was right on time, unlike Lauren Hill. Just saying. Just saying. Uh, nah, man. Remember, these are these are little people. We gotta train them up. My wife said something a little while back that was very simple, but very deep at the same time. She said, we have to teach them how to be people. We have to teach our girls how to be human beings, right? And that's everything. That's the things that they have naturally in them that you ain't got nothing to do with, and it's a lot of what they see and hear from us, right? So we are in charge of teaching them how to be people, and that's a heavy responsibility if you think about it. And it's especially a heavy responsibility when you're still learning and you're still growing yourself, which is why I think it's important. Another thing, I think we talked about this last season or a couple seasons ago. That our kids or that we were growing up as we were watching our parents also still grow up, right? We were watching them also still learn how to be adults while we were learning how to be human beings. They were learning how to be adults, right? And so sometimes mistakes are going to be get made on the battlefield, right? Sometimes worse, some worse than others, but mistakes are going to get made on the battlefield. With that being said, so I think it's very important to keep that communication line open, and just be straight up with them. Hey, look, I did that. I got mad. I got frustrated. I got irritated, and I shouldn't have done that either. Or whatever it is. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Still not a fan of soft parenting. That's not soft. That's not soft parenting, in my opinion. So that being said, let us move right along to our final topic here. This I'm gonna bring back a oldie but a goodie. I'm gonna bring back fair or foul for this one. All right. Um, Again, we've been talking about the Super Bowl. Talked about it earlier today. This is an interesting scenario. I want y'all to take a look on our way out the door, getting y'all back to y'all evening. All right, so here we go. Let's take a look.
What's going on is that my birthday is February 10th, and my boyfriend just won 2 free tickets to Vegas for the Super Bowl, which is essentially on my birthday, and he's abandoning me and taking his best friend instead.
Wait a minute. Let me explain. I'm not abandoning her. We can do something before or after. I've told her that so many times.
Okay.
So many times.
Okay, but listen, Derek, you could take me, and you're choosing to not take me, leave me all alone on my birthday.
Wait, Derek, who are you taking with
bring
you?
someone else.
I'm taking my best friend. I'm taking my best friend, Brad. We've known each other for years. We watch the game every Sunday. I can't not take him.
So he's a big football fan. Are you a football fan, Megan?
Well, I'm not necessarily a fan of football, but I'm a fan of Vegas. Okay? Listen. Also, Taylor Swift is probably going to be there. Usher perform.
I'll take you to Vegas.
Usher at halftime,
I'll take you to Vegas. I'll take you to Usher. I'll take you to Taylor Swift, but not right now.
No.
Gotta go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we're gonna pour one.
Yeah, let me just first go out on a limb and say that having a girlfriend like that would have me drinking a lot of this.
We ain't up to it and downed it to it. So this is probably the perfect time.
I'm gonna get my chaser ready because oh boy.
Wow. Yep.
Go ahead, Kev. Go in, Kev. Go ahead, Kev.
I was like this close to like agreeing with her because she was like, Taylor Swift's gonna be there. I want to see Usher perform, and I was like, no. So listen, if you're not a diehard fan of football, you don't go to the Super Bowl. Like now, if this was, if he just got tickets to a game, cool. But the Super Bowl, which is the mecca of, football, like it's the Super Bowl. Like you take a fan, you take a person who's going to understand all aspects of the game. Usher's little performances, 15 minutes in a 3 hour spectacle, your seats could be nowhere near Taylor Swift. So like
Your
you would
seats
just
are nowhere near Taylor Swift.
are nowhere unless you're Ice Spice. Your seats are nowhere near Taylor Swift. Like so, this ain't that. Y'all didn't get tickets to her box. You got tickets to the Super Bowl. So like you said, I'll take you out before. I'll take you out after. Hell, you're in Vegas. While I'm at the game, you can do Vegas. Like I'm taking you to Vegas. Like whatever he created. So like that's a proactive man who didn't just say, "Babe, I'm abandoning you on your birthday." He said, you can roll, you just ain't going to the game. So he had a plan in place for you. You know what I'm saying? Still making sure you're appreciated, seeing whatever. And nah, she wildin'. I don't know what the question is, but she foul.
I think the fair button came out because it's fair on his part. He just said the best friend, they watch football every Sunday. They're locked in, they're doing it. I mean, they probably like got the bets going and the charts here and everything. Listen. He had a solution, or at least this is the solution. Yeah, it is Vegas. So you bring her to Vegas, the hotel, while the game's going on. She's got a nice spa day going, or whatever it is, shopping, woo, woo, woo.
Right.
Guess what? We're going to do something after the game. You can come and celebrate with us. All right. But as far as going to the game, okay, First of all, you better be lucky he's doing any of this. He doesn't have any obligation to do any of that because you're just a friend. All right. You filed single on your taxes. All right. So you better be lucky. Any of it. Okay. Uh yeah, it's the Super Bowl. Come on, man.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man.
And that's why she's just a friend, because she don't understand that it's the Super Bowl. That's why. And then you ain't never gonna be a wife at this rate. You ain't never gonna be nobody's wife at this rate. You don't understand the game. You don't understand the rules of the game, the rules of engagement. We got the Super Bowl. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. You don't just up and go to the. You don't just go to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
No, she lost. Right. I mean, she been lost me, but she lost me. And she said, and Taylor Swift's gonna be there. Listen, the NFL knew what they were doing. They got more views and more attendance, yes, because of Taylor Swift, okay? Because of people that are going to be at that game, specifically Taylor Swift, and they thought they were going to get the opportunity just to, what are they doing? They just at the game, the football field is here, and they like this. I think I see her. Oh, she clapped. Oh, she's standing. Oh,
that can't be. I refuse to believe there were people in the stands looking at or for Taylor Swift. I just refuse to believe it. I'm not believing it.
They said if they could just touch the hem of her garment.
That's what it seemed like.
Of her garments.
That is what it seems like.
They can just get to clap them pancakes.
Oh, man. Why else would her being at the game increase attendance? And we talk about regular games. Well, not regular games, but a couple of regular games.
First of all, the Super Bowl was going to be sold out whether Taylor Swift was here or wherever her concert tour finished. Which was like the fact that there was a Vegas bet for her or actually making it to the Super Bowl from her last concert is insane. Insane. But but the Super Bowl was going to be sold out one way or another. It's the Super Bowl.
Somebody said it was a total conspiracy theory because apparently her last album, the name of her last album was 13, right? And we just finished playing Super Bowl 58. It was 5 plus 8.
13 and something. I forget. Like
they played against the 49ers. What's 4 plus 9?
What was that movie? Wasn't that with Jim Carrey? Was that 24 or
21? Yeah, the movie. Yeah, the number 21. Like yeah. That was a cool movie, man. That was a cool movie. I thought it was cool anyway.
Yeah,
I thought it was cool.
Y'all have way too much time on your hands. Way too much time on your hands.
It's the social media generation, the social media generation with the Tide Pod generation, man. And this is what we have. Nothing but time on our hands to
Yes.
make up and do all manner of bullshit.
It made
What
a
can I
baby
say?
with 3 arms and 1 leg.
And called it Mr. Taylor Swift.
Which is non-binary.
Mr. Non-binary Taylor Swift, ma'am. Non-binary is not a thing. Damn it. I'm saying it. I'm just saying it. Non-binary is not that's the most absurd. Well, one of the most absurd.
Oh my gosh. Are
we
done?
We're done. On that non-binary note, which is like a non-musical note or something like that, a random screech. Anyway, we out. Okay, take us out, bro.
Hopefully y'all get Monday off because it's President's Day. I'll take it. Get some rest. That's the way to close. Get some rest. Take care of yourself and each other. Hit the like button, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Each and every Friday, it's going up and it's going down. Giggity.
Thank y'all for joining us. Tell a friend to tell a friend, right? Like, share, subscribe. Hey, listen, like I said throughout the show, actually, pick a side, take action. I'm going to pick a side, and that side is the bedside. And I'm going to take action, which is sleep.
It could have been a different kind of action, different kind of side he was talking about taking. But it's all good, man. Again, thank y'all for joining us. Thank y'all for hanging out with us. As always, we'll see you again next Friday. Like and subscribe if you have not already. Tell a friend to come by and holler at us. Throw some questions out there, things y'all might want us to talk about, the questions y'all have for us. You see, we try to interact with the comments too. So come on through, leave a comment, talk to your boys over here, man. We having a good time. We've been sipping, we've been drinking. That's what we do. Hey, look, man, there's a lot going on. Like Rich said, pick a side. I'm picking the side. All right. I'm picking the side. It's going to be controversial, and I don't care. All right. I'm picking the side. Trump, Ramaswamy 2024. Trump, Ramaswamy 2024. That's my side that I'm picking. All right. You can be mad at it. You can be mad at it. I don't care. Be mad. But you know what? And the last thing I'm going to tell y'all, the last thing I'm going to say to everybody is this here. It may, just maybe, be a good idea to, in the fall, invest in Kleenex. All right? And when the fall comes, you might want to invest in some Kleenex. Because once we get to November and election day comes up, it's going to be a whole lot of people crying real tears and snotting and all this other kind of thing. And I'm here for all of it. All right. I'm here for all of it. So invest in some Kleenex. That's my stock tip for the day. Y'all getting it all out here. Y'all ain't know. Pick a side and do something about it. That's it. We out of here, man. Appreciate all of y'all. What? I ain't even know what you said.
You breaking up, Kev?
I said I thought it was about masturbation. I wasn't about
it wasn't. No, it wasn't a masturbation talk. How did we get here? How did we get here? We're leaving for real.
The Kleenex. So I just, good night, everybody.
For tears, not for
good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. That's my side, and I'm taking action.